Welcome. My name is Dale, and I operate this channel, Observer of Anomalous Objects. I want to thank you for joining in. This isn't going to be a long episode because it really doesn't deal with something that's my normal topics. My normal topics are going to have anything to do with UAPs or UFOs or the subject as a whole. But because of becoming involved with UAPs and UFOs, my mind has kind of been expanded. And many of you know I'm a pastor. And so there was something that happened many years ago, probably about 7 to be exact, that really left me shaken. I'll be honest with you. I just wasn't sure how to deal with it at the time. In fact, truth of the matter is I didn't deal with it at the time. Now, I've heard about ghosts in the past, and from the from a biblical perspective, um, the word for spirit is the word pneuma, and it actually can mean anyway, wind. It can mean wind, and but there was something that happened, and it happened at a funeral that I was doing. It was actually a memorial more than a funeral, but we were setting everything up. The lady had been cremated. She was the mother of one of the ladies who went to my church, and we'd gotten her urn set up on the communion table. We got some flowers positioned around it. We got a picture of her put right there. And this is where it gets weird because the doors were all shut, the windows were all shut, and all of a sudden this gush of wind shot through the sanctuary and knocked over the dead lady's picture. And at the time it kind of freaked me out because I'm going, oh my goodness, what in the world was that? I mean, that's not something I've ever seen before or seen since, but it was like some force shot through the sanctuary and knocked over the picture. And it was like, was that a ghost? Was that her soul or her spirit? And remember, as I said earlier, one of the words for spirit in the Bible is the word pneuma. It means wind. It means wind. And that's exactly, it was like this wind came rushing down the aisle, the center aisle in the sanctuary, and knocked that picture over. And I always wondered, why that picture? Why was that picture hit? Was that some kind of communication beyond the grave? But at the time, I thought maybe it's a demon. Maybe it was her ghost, but I really wasn't into ghost or stuff like that back then. In fact, my initial thought, and could still be my thought, is that maybe that was some kind of demon. And I don't know if what people are seeing, if these are demons, but here's my problem with it being ghost. It's not that it can't be ghost, but here's my problem with it being ghost. Is people see like Civil War soldiers who are ghosts. You know, people see things that are bizarre, and I think, man, when I die, I don't want to live hundreds of years, you know, in some disembodied spirit. You know, I want to have some kind of I want to have fun. I don't want to be haunting people. I don't want to be doing stuff like that. And so I'm not saying that these are not ghosts. Very well, maybe. But I want you to think about that for a minute. And you think about somebody that died, you know, during the Civil War, and all this time they've been trapped in a silhouette of their own old body or something like that. And it's like, no, I don't want it to be that. I definitely don't want it to be that, because that's not the kind of existence I want to experience after I die. Now, I'm not going to make this a thing about spirituality in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I'm saying, because there's enough people that watch my channel that have different views, and none of us are going to agree completely on what the afterlife will look like. But let me say this. I sure hope it's not that. I mean, that's no way to spend eternity. And I don't know if that would even be eternity. I don't know if you stay in that position till you finally work through whatever it is that kept you here if you're a ghost. But all I know is that was one of the strangest events that ever happened in my life, is that the doors were shut, the windows were shut, and clearly some force came down the aisle and knocked over that picture. Not only that picture, which is what made it a little bit even more bizarre, was the fact that this picture got knocked over of this lady who had died, and it was her ashes in the urn. And I'm just like, wow. And I kind of buried it, you know, for the last 7 years until recently. Like I said, I've started evaluating things that are going on. And the one thing I'm sure of is that there's more than we can see. There's more that's going on than our minds can think about. There's more than just the physical realm that we're dealing with. And I'll give you another example. It has nothing to do with the story, but I shared this yesterday with some people. And it is that when I was out golfing and I was with a buddy of mine, and we were on the back nine, we were on hole number 11, and he had lost his ball off to the left. And it was kind of, it wasn't quite out of bounds, but it was in a hazard area. And so we went over to look at it and look for it. And when we got over there, this weird notion came to me, or like a notion or just an impression or something came to me that said that I was going to find a golf ball. Now, that's not a big deal. There's nothing special about that. But it wasn't just that I was going to find a golf ball, but that I was going to find a Pro V1 golf ball made by Titleist. I mean, that's pretty specific, don't you think? And so I almost told my friend about it, but I decided not to, because if I didn't find the golf ball, I'm going to look pretty stupid. I'm going to look crazy. Maybe he won't even want to go golfing with me anymore if I do something like that. He's not really into the UFO, UAP stuff, but he's starting to listen a little bit. But anyway, I knew I wouldn't have that much time because, we have people coming up behind us. So I had about a minute probably. And I'm out there looking, and Kurt has found his ball and he's getting ready to hit. And so I know I'm running out of time. I only have about a minute. And all of a sudden I look down and there's this little white spot on the ground, and there's a leaf there, and I'm pull the leaf away and it's a golf ball. Okay. It's nothing bizarre or strange about that. I mean, their golf balls get lost. But the fact when I picked it up, it's a Titleist. And I start thinking to myself, man, what are the odds? Because Titleist makes a lot of different golf balls. And I'm thinking to myself, what are the odds this is going to turn out to be a Pro V1? And I had to rotate it again. And when I looked down, guess what? It was a Pro V1. And it was just, like I said, it was just weird. It was kind of cool at the same time, because it's like I was told that there was a ball, a specific ball in this specific area, and it was the only other ball there besides my friend's golf ball. And so the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot more out there than what we can see with our eyes. There are other dimensions. There's so much going on that I think that we just shut it all down because we don't want to believe it. But I've learned in the last few months that you just got to be open-minded about stuff, not naive, not fall for everything out there, but you've got to be open-minded to the possibility. And so that was pretty exciting. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's going to be a short one, but I wanted to talk about my ghost encounter, or whatever it was. It was a strong wind when there shouldn't have been any wind, of some kind of entity of some kind. And then also I decided to throw in an extra one, that little thing that happened on Sunday where I found that golf ball where I was told I was going to find it. And it was the exact golf ball I was told. And so this is definitely a world of high strangeness. Anyway, thank you for joining in. God bless.